WTAW.
We visit with the mayors on Wednesday, and Bobby Gutierrez, the mayor of Bryan's, here this morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Scott?
Good. So our question for our listeners today is, what is your favorite time of day?
Oh, man, I think I get up early.
Yeah?
I mean, I wake up really early in the morning. I think this morning I got up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock. And that time where I'm making my coffee, I get down, I can just sit and relax with and everybody knows I wake up early, so my phone starts ringing early.
Okay.
So I think that, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
Is a good time.
I hear
4:30,
you.
5:30, right in that.
Well, we're all morning people, too, so yeah, we're
exactly.
with you. The other thing is, we were talking before you went on the air about books. You're a book guy, too.
I am a book guy. I was listening to that, and I was just, I spent my early years when I worked for the Bass Brothers, and you're thinking about things to do, and you're doing. And I was a big hunter. Want to go on all these safaris and do all this stuff like that. I was a professional guide, as you will, and one of the things I collected was books. And I remember buying my first rifle, a Model 70 Winchester, and I really got hosed on this rifle. I mean, bad. And I had some really good advice by one of my mentors. He said, before you just go buy something, why don't you go learn about it? So go buy the book and learn about what it is. So I learned all the different variations of these pre-64 Model 70s, and just it became that thing. So it went from there to the Colt books, to the hunting books, to safari books, and the Capsticks and Rourkes, and just all. Roosevelt's one of my heroes. The father of just
Conservation,
Yeah.
sure.
And so have all his first editions, and just Hemingway. And I wish I had the time to read everything.
Well, see, sit
right
down.
now.
Hemingway's a short read. You could do that.
And
The
Hemingway's a
sentences are short.
fun
Yeah.
read.
Yeah,
He's a fun read. So I go back, and I like the storytelling and stuff like that as well. But I go back to his style of writing. His style it just kept you involved.
Yeah.
And it was light.
There you go.
So it wasn't, I love bookstores. So, we have the bookstore downtown Bryan across from LaSalle next to 3rd on Main.
Yep.
And I love, popping in there and going, you never know when you're going to find something that's there. And, I do it as a collection, it's collecting these things. If you find a signed first edition, it's good. And I remember when eBay first came out, and I remember because they had some actual articles that I was in, with guns and with books, that they would send you these lists, and then you could pick on the list, and they were expensive. And now with the internet, everything is kind of evened out, because now the hardest part was finding them. Now everything's available, so the market isn't quite there as much. But they don't make any more of these books either. So we'll see.
One of these days you get to sit down and read. Right now you got to be mayor of this city, huh? Right?
Exactly.
So yesterday I had the ribbon cutting for BTU. Once again, a really an amazing step for this organization.
What a phenomenal deal! It was. I was talking about. I hadn't been there in 2 years. You went for the groundbreaking, and then to go over there, and I got a little private tour, because they scheduled me for a tour. Then they scheduled another meeting during that time, and so I said, I'm sorry you can't make it. He goes, just call us when you have some time, and we'll walk you through it. I was amazed. In fact, I was telling Gary and David Worley and all this, like, guys, don't get comfortable. I think we're going to take this over here. We'll move City Hall over here. We'll move you guys over there. It's a phenomenal building, and it's very, very, the design, everything about it. SZS did the Singleton, Jim Singleton did that, and his group, and everything there is purpose driven. Everything was made for a reason. It's very efficient, natural light in every office. It's beautiful. I mean, it's truly beautiful.
But at the same time, it's right across the street right across the parking lot from City Hall. There's some things that are going to be moved. What are the plans for that building? How's the city going to repurpose?
I think it's going to be development services. I think that's where we're busting at the seams. Obviously, everybody here in Bryan and College Station, we're growing. We're growing fast, and we're out of room. We're going to keep everything as efficient as we can get it. But I think development services, where we do a lot of day-to-day business, and they need some more room over there, because we're just out. So we'll move it over there. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, we're a very fast-moving, efficient government area here with Bryan, and tomorrow could be a different idea, and it could change.
What are the conversations going on in Austin that y'all have been privy to that could impact your city and all the cities?
Well, obviously, water. Water's the biggest thing. Shout out to Hunter Goodwin, getting out there and doing that stuff with Keep Water Local. I think that's our biggest issue that we face as Bryan College Station, Texas A&M and our surrounding areas, our water board. But we've got to keep that stuff here. That will stop growth in Brazos County for us. And I think Austin, all of them do. They need to figure out that water is the resource. I mean, it's our only limited resource that we have right now, other than energy. and energy and water is something we're in the forefront of solutions for. I think Relish Campus, what the chancellor's done, what the president's done, what Relish and Board of Regents have done out there, and driving that conversation and making that testing ground is going to be. I think it's going to put Bryan College Station, of course, Texas A&M at the forefront of everything that happens within a nation. It's national security. So we've got a lot of stuff happening here. Every time you go out, you see that they know where we're at.
So one of the discussions I know having to do with funding over in Austin, Dan Patrick really likes the idea of raising the homestead exemption. Got it up to $100,000. He wants to get it to $140,000. That takes money off the tax rolls for cities and counties. The impact there.
It does. I mean, we're pretty nimble. We know how to react to some of the stuff like this. Brian is, we're pretty conservative the way we handle our business and everything else. But then you got to figure out how do you come up with those shortfalls. Nobody likes to be taxed, so it's what do you have? You have sales tax and you have property tax. That's it. The only other things you can do is fees and services. So we've got to take a good look. Sometimes the savings is not really a savings. Sometimes savings is just a pass through. It makes you feel good, but it's got to be made up somewhere. And, I say this all the time, citizens want quality of life. Safety and services is expected, but that's the only thing that we do. So how do you get that quality of life? How do you do those things that are impactful, that make the meaningful changes that we want to see in our life? And that's basically back on the citizens. It's okay, we can do it, but we got to pay for it. And that's always that hard division because as a mayor, as a city council, I have a phenomenal city council, and we're all thinking 20, 50, 100 years out. It's not for us, it's for those next generation. But how do you make those impactful, meaningful changes that will change the direction of a feel-good city without charging the taxpayers? So the only way you can do that is save every penny you can save. You can cut everything that you can possibly cut, and then, of course, then your services go down. So that balance is that tightrope dancing, that we got to do all the time, but know that we're in the top of it. We're looking for different ways that we can, the efficiencies of our government, the efficiencies of our people, all the departments. BTU is a prime example of that. I mean, it's just like the congressman said yesterday, who's the chairman of ERCOT. If all of the electric companies in Texas would have acted and operated like BTU, we wouldn't have had a problem during Uri. I mean, we wouldn't have had that. We were the example, and Senator Schwartner said the same thing. We were the example of how to do it right. Now, we still had stuff, but we never went down. Mm-hmm. We were having to ship our electricity out so everybody else could survive, and we had to give up a little bit too. So that's what we do over here, just kind of give and take.
There you go. Anything else this morning?
No, we just we had our Maroon and White committee meeting yesterday. We're looking for the next Maroon and White. It's going to be on the 21st of February. Mm-hmm. 3rd. We have First Friday going to be coming up next Friday, not this one, but the following. And just a lot of good stuff happening in downtown Bryan. We're looking forward to everything. The Kimball Building is coming along line. It should be at the end of February. The Kimball Building should be coming up. Just some really good stuff happening.
Glad to hear it. Thanks for the time this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Yep, that's Bobby Gutierrez. He's the mayor of Bryan.
Michael Cavanaugh returns to Rudder Auditorium to sing the hits of Neil Diamond.